I've been walking a tightrope between fact and fiction. Been wrestling with demons in small bottle prisons. Been talking to sinners who claim to be Christian, but shouting at leaders who claim to be listening. And the pendulum swings from the left to the right. Its momentum increases the need for the fight, like a moment of blindness and a lifetime of sight. And I am caught somewhere in the middle. I met a young woman with a baby inside her. I looked, but there wasn't a safe place to hide her. I met an old man with a face like a mirror. He showed me his sadness so I could see clearer. Met an arrogant leader who robs us and cheats us, pretends that his orders come directly from Jesus. When he sends out our children to strange foreign soil, to kill for the right to monopolize oil. I'm raising my voice against the house of derision that murders our freedom with short-sighted vision. I'll sing a new song about civilization and the palace of wisdom and the death of a nation. I lift up the veil that's hiding the holy. Remind all the people that change happens slowly. I scream out a name to the echoes of heaven and pray that the world don't end up where it's heading. And the pendulum swings from the left to the right. Its momentum decreases, the end is in sight. There's a lunatic handling our future tonight, and I am lost somewhere in the middle. Somewhere in the middle. Somewhere in the middle.
This is the Journalistic Revolution, sitting down with one very famous Jordan Page. Yeah, he's the guy over there behind you. But we're over here at the Liberty Summit in Orlando, Florida, which he just did 2 concerts in one night, really. One on stage and another one privately for us in the back there, right before and after Ron Paul. But what I wanted to talk to you about was something that you brought to my attention the last time you were on Liberty Movement Radio with me.
Yes.
Which was the Jefferson Republic in Sequoia, or
In Siskiyou County.
Cisco County.
Yeah. So Siskiou.
And what's going on there?
So there's a very strong movement up in Siskiyou County. It's one of the northernmost counties in California. The surrounding counties are starting to toy with this idea too. Southern Oregon counties have this idea as well, that they want to form their own sovereign republic out of their county. They want their county to effectively secede not just from California, but from the United States of America. And they want to they just want to cut ties and form their own sovereign nation.
And the name of this nation would be, what was it?
It would be the Jefferson Republic.
A Jefferson Republic. And who's spearheading this?
2 just absolute warriors for liberty. Gary Lake and John Martinez are my 2 contacts there, and they are, they're the tip of the spear for sure. There's some other great folks, Anthony Antiso, who's part of the brains behind it and has been leading the charge up until now, and Gary. My understanding is Gary and John are taking it forward. What's interesting about this is it's not just a popular idea. It's actually a ballot initiative.
Yeah, it's on the ballot.
It's on the ballot on June the 3rd. They will vote to secede to secede or not from the Union, and I'm absolutely in favor of any sovereign area taking the controls away from the largest terrorist organization in the world, which is the U.S. government.
Speaking of them, what kind of resistance, if any, have they been receiving from said terrorist organization?
Tons of resistance. Well, see, again, I wouldn't necessarily call myself an expert, but the understanding I have is that the water rights up there are what this is really all about as far as the state's concerned.
Okay.
There is an alternate movement known as the State of Jefferson movement, and they want to create a new state and call it Jefferson.
This is that hit the mainstream media. That was Northern California wanting to break off from Southern California.
Well,
right?
that was I think a California congressman or senator wanted to break California into like 6 different pieces.
Okay.
But they want to create just an actual state of the state of Jefferson. But that State of Jefferson movement is, from the way it was explained to me and from what I've seen, is a Tea Party initiative. But the Tea Party up there is controlled by the GOP establishment. Karl Rove is involved in this. All kinds of high level people in the GOP establishment are behind this, trying to subvert the Jefferson Republic movement because they will be, undermining everything that they're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, when they really laid it all out for me, this could be a miniseries. It could be a movie. I'm talking corruption from the cops all the way up to the highest levels of state government. It's kind of a mess up there, but there are these amazing warriors up there who are they're fearless, and I think that's really what it takes to pull something like this off. I mean, it's a dangerous proposition in some ways.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people that are behind it, and I'm really interested to see what happens, because if it doesn't get voted in, it doesn't mean that it won't. It just means that it didn't. But it's just going to continue to grow and grow and grow, and I'm going to continue to support that initiative, with my music and with my presence.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Now, so you need to make the distinction between the Jefferson State versus the Jefferson Republic, which is trying to be established. The Jefferson State,
it would be a state like any other. It would be bound to this centralized government the way every state is, and ultimately in the same boat. I mean, what we're trying to do up there is get them using Bitcoin and hours, like the Mountain Hours Revolution type currency. Just try to get away from Federal Reserve notes and really just get a clean start and keep the economy local. The State of Jefferson movement, I don't think is actually real. I think it's just there to subvert the Jefferson Republic movement. I think that if the State of Jefferson movement actually had a chance of doing something, it would not do anything by design.
yeah.
So,
all right.
in order to keep the Jefferson movement from succeeding. And there might be some people that are going to hear me say this that might be upset that I'm saying that, because that may not be, on the grassroots level, that may not be what they're about. But in the higher levels of of the control systems that are pushing all this stuff to happen, that seems to me to be what's going on. Again, I don't call myself an expert on this.
Yeah.
But I did one show for them, and I'm convinced that this is an really awesome thing that's happening, and here's the thing, I support anything that moves us away from where we are towards something better. I mean, we all don't agree on what we all want to have be our end game, but anything moving us away from tyranny toward liberty, I support. I'm a philosophical anarchist, but I also support people running for office.
Yeah.
Because if we get liberty people in office, there will be an impact.
Yeah.
Listen, I mean, we heard Jack Hunter's speech tonight talking about the impact of libertarianism in mainstream politics. I mean, it is a measurable impact. Mm-hmm. It's not just, fluffy words on a greeting card. I mean, it really is happening. The mainstream is coming closer and closer to us, little by little. People are starting to identify themselves more libertarian than they used to be, and that's just going to keep growing. More people wake up.
Well, that's a great example, because I get in a lot of arguments with liberals, because I spend more time with them because I think they're the low-hanging fruit now. Mm-hmm. Because they agree with us on social policies. They agree with us that marijuana should be legal.
So many things.
So many things. So I like to talk with them a lot. And one of the arguments I hear that they use as a negative, but I'm all like, this is very positive to me, is they're all like, oh, great, yet another libertarian movement, or yet another anarchist movement, or yet another. And I'm all like, but that should concern you. If there's so many movements popping up, You know, you shouldn't think, oh, just another failed movement. You should think, man,
No.
they're trying again.
Yeah.
You know, so what I wanted to ask you next, though, is, okay, so you have this Jefferson Republic, this awesome idea, right? And what other movements have you seen that you were just like, wow, this is great in your travels across the United States?
Oh, for sure, the nullification movement.
Oh, yeah.
Nullification is that. I mean, that is the vehicle by which you stem the tide of federal tyranny. Well, nullification in two respects: nullification at a legislative level, and nullification at the level of the jury. Now, some friends and I, we were down in Chile a few months ago.
Galt's Gulch,
and we were all sitting around the table talking about what we can do, as you know. I mean, it was like Tatiana Moroz and Jeff Berwick, Dollar Vigilante, and Bob Murphy, Austrian economist, and Luke Radowski, who's here, and Joby Weeks. There's a bunch of us, Angela Keaton for Anti-War, and we came up with this idea of the justice movement. Just us. Justice. Jury nullification. I mean, FIJA already exists, but we want to have an educational movement that, like, each of us from our respective backgrounds and respective audiences can educate in mass, and help people to understand that their vote on a jury is the only vote that you have.
Yeah.
Because voting, let's face it, voting is nonsense now. You know,
especially on a federal level.
yeah, if you don't get a receipt for your vote, there's no vote. Those who count the votes determine the course of elections. So being on a jury is something that every American should be like jumping at the chance to do, because it's a real literal way to nullify bad laws. Because a juror has not only the ability to hear the case, but to interpret and hear the facts, but to interpret the law itself, to judge the law itself. Is this a good law? Does this law make sense? Should we have this law? No? Boom, victimless crimes out the door. And the more juries start acquitting people for victimless crimes, you know, the freer our society becomes.
Yeah.
We've got 2 million people in prisons for nonviolent drug offenses.
What is it? 5% of the population, 25% of the prison population.
Exactly. And that's completely insane.
The next big question, I guess, would be what's in the future for you? I know that you have a baby coming, so you're going to be taking a break off. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you very much. Just for a little bit.
Yeah.
Just for the month of April. You know, I got to be home with the little ones.
I'm pretty sure she wouldn't forgive you if you weren't.
No, I wouldn't forgive myself if I wasn't.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be touring in May. I've got a lot of things happening in May and June and July. I'm booking as far ahead as August right now. I'm raising money to do my new record, and which is just about, you know, ready to go. I mean,
Yeah.
It's been 3 years since I've released an album, and it's just really time. I've been wanting to release it for about a year now, so I'm ready to do that. And you know, I just keep spreading the message, man. I mean, it's people are hungry for it, and I've been doing these intimate shows, these concerts all over the country. I'll pick a geographical area, like a tri-state area, and just pick 6 or 7 cities, reach out to the groups in those cities. People, you know, congregate, they organize, I show up, donations galore, and I put on a 2-3 hour show, and everybody gets their liberty fix, you know.
Yeah.
And it's really been successful. I've been doing them. I've done probably 20 tours since July, and people just love them, and I'm loving it too. And I'm getting to meet all the groups all over the country,
All different walks of life.
all different walks of life, but like all the different activist groups, you know, whether it's, you know, Tea Party or anarchist or Ron Paul or Oath Keepers, you know,
Yeah.
what have you, or just the local meetups. Just they come together, and I get 20 to 100 people a show, and it's just, you know, it's pretty amazing. So I'm seeing firsthand just how alive this movement is. It's huge. You know, maybe we're waiting for something or someone. I don't know, but I'm not waiting. I'm out there. There's a lot of people that are out there, and I'm just trying to, you know, continue what I set out to do. I'm never going to stop.
Yeah. I was going to ask that. No regrets?
None.
None? If nothing, just great memories.
I went from playing in bars. I'm going to have a candid, honest moment here with you.
Okay.
I went from playing in bars for like 8 years. I had like the Beatles played for like 8 years, like 7 days a week,
Yeah.
8 hours a day in these bars in Germany, you know. I played in bars for 8 years to drunks with their backs turned to me watching the boob tube, who could have cared less what I was singing about, to, playing at the Sundome in Tampa at the RNC for 12,000 people.
Yeah.
There's something to that. There's purpose in that. God's got me on this path, and I follow it. I see the signs and I follow them, and they're always right.
And you just jump on the opportunities.
If I recognize them, they're there. Nothing's coincidence. Everything's a test. I assume that and act accordingly.
Awesome. Well, that was Jordan Page joining us over here at the Journalistic Revolution, and this is the Journalistic Revolution saying, don't look to be free sometime in the future. Live free now.
Live free now.